There's a lot of nuance when sewing leather, and although I love it, it can be tricky to sew, and it's not very forgiving if you get it wrong. So it's important to use the right size and type of needle and thread. This video is everything I wish I knew about needles and thread when I started machine sewing leather about 6 years ago. And while testing and researching for this video, I made a discovery that I'm really excited about. I'll share it along with my perfect setup later on. Let's set a foundation and get a few common problems out of the way before I dive into the details. When troubleshooting, we often see machines that are threaded incorrectly, needles installed incorrectly, or people using the wrong needle system that's incompatible with their machine. It's important to sort out those problems first and get your machine sewing properly, then come back to this video to perfect the look of those stitches when you're sewing leather. It's essential to use the correct needle system for your machine. The geometry of the needle must be compatible with your machine for it to sew properly. So use the system marked on your machine or in the guidebook. If you can't find it there, just do a bit of online research. At Sellrite, the needle system is listed on the nameplate, and all of our machines use 135 by 17 needles. You'll also see the numbers 135 by 16, which is the same system, but that 16 denotes that it's a leather point needle. Speaking of leather point needles, we almost always recommend using a leather point needle when sewing leather. They're specially designed to cut through the leather, which is different from fabric needles, which push the fibers out of the way to pass through the material. The only exception is very thin, soft leathers. You can sometimes get away with using a round or sharp needle for those, because they behave more like fabric. There's 4 widely used needle points for sewing leather, and I made this chart to connect the abbreviations with their names to help you as you shop. We have a more detailed video that covers all 4 of these, but I'm going to focus on the diamond and twist points throughout this video because they're my 2 favorites and the ones that I use most often. I'll leave that video linked below if you want to learn more about perpendicular and triangle point needles. DI needles create diamond-shaped stitching holes, and since the holes fall along the same vertical plane, they create slightly recessed stitches that look really nice. My favorite part of this needle, though, is its sewability. By that, I mean it's more forgiving when it comes to tension than some of the other needle points that I've used and tested over the years. I find I have to do less test sewing and less fine tuning to dial in the tension so that that knot becomes invisible. For someone like me who has a small leather business and values efficiency, that's a huge help. The one downside of the DI needle is that its cutting geometry makes it unsuitable for shorter stitches. Since those cuts follow a straight line, they can create a perforation that is prone to tearing if those stitches are too close together. The smallest stitch I'll make with a DI needle is 3.5 millimeters. I recommend using it for medium to long stitch lengths. That brings me to LR or twist point needles. The holes they create are angled at about 45 degrees, which eliminates the problem of creating that perforated line. This makes them ideal for fine leather working with short to medium stitch lengths. The stitches are more elevated than the DI needle, and they're beloved because the slanted stitches kind of mimic the look of hand sewing. Let's move on to needle and thread sizing. We made this chart as part of a detailed PDF to help you choose the right needle, thread, and size combination for different materials and project types. The PDF is in the description. Looking at the chart, you'll notice there's a range of needle sizes that correspond with the thread weight. And the thickness of the leather assembly and the type of leather you're sewing with will determine whether that larger or smaller needle size is appropriate. My rule of thumb is to go with the smaller size to make smaller, less noticeable holes. But occasionally I'll use the larger size if I'm having tension issues or sewing an assembly larger than about 15 ounces. A couple quick tips about needles before I move on. Using a needle that's too large will result in oversized, unsightly holes. Using a needle that's too small can result in skipped stitches, thread fraying, and tension issues. Moving over to thread, the majority of leatherwork falls between Tex 70 and Tex 135. Tex sizing measures how many grams 1,000 meters of thread weighs. We use Tex sizing for everything at Sellrite, but I'll put a conversion chart on screen now and in the PDF to help you while you shop. Some quick tips about thread. Tex 70 is the heaviest size recommended for most home sewing machines. Heavier threads make your stitching more visible. You'll need to adjust your machine's tension when switching thread weights. Polyester and bonded nylon are the 2 recommended thread materials for sewing leather. Bonded nylon is slightly stronger and has better abrasion resistance, but polyester is more UV resistant. To use any of the needles and thread I've discussed so far, you'll need a walking foot sewing machine. A drop feed domestic machine can handle some light duty leather, but it really limits what you can sew and you're going to run into some problems pretty quickly. The Sailrite Ultra Feed and leatherwork machines can sew up to Tex 90 thread with a size 20 needle, and the Sailrite Fabricator and other similar industrial machines can sew up to Tex 135 with a size 22 needle. Here are 3 common thread sizes side by side for reference. I use Tex 90 for most projects, but I'll drop down to Tex 70 for thin leathers or fine leather goods, and I'll size up to Tex 135 if I'm going for a more rugged look on something like a belt or shoes. There's one tier of machines above everything I've just mentioned I would call heavy industrial. These are used for specialized work like saddles, shoemaking, horse tack, or other heavy duty things like sheaths and holsters. I've seen thread weights as heavy as Tex 350, but it's really rare to actually need thread that thick. Enough technical talk, now I want to share some of my opinions and give you my 2 favorite needle and thread combinations, which I probably use on about 90% of my projects. And one of these 2 combinations actually changed recently, and I can't believe it took me so long to figure it out. Let me show you. Here's the first setup, Tex 90 bonded nylon thread with a size 18 diamond point needle. This is the setup I recommend to every new sewer who buys one of our machines. Tex 90 thread is strong and aesthetically, I think it strikes the perfect balance between looking durable yet sleek. I most often sew a stitch length of about 3.5 to 4 millimeters because I've never been a huge fan of really long stitches or really heavy thread weights. I love this combination because the recessed stitches created by the diamond points looks great. It's also a very versatile setup. I can do this on lightweight to medium and even some heavyweight projects and it still looks great. The sewability is great. I don't have to fiddle with my tension quite so much and it's just super versatile. The second setup is one that actually changed recently after lots and lots of testing. It's Tex 90 bonded nylon thread still, but with a size 19 twist point needle. This is what I use when a project requires shorter stitch lengths or when I'm going for decorative slanted stitches. I think it's objectively the best looking stitch you can get from a sewing machine. So why not use it for everything? Well, for years, I used the size 18 twist point needle just like I do for the diamond points, and every now and then I would get a couple stitches that just weren't tensioned correctly. I always chalked it up as the geometry of the needle and just the price you pay for such pretty stitches. But then I made a discovery. I started trying to solve that issue because we had a customer email in with similar frustrations. I experimented with lighter bobbin thread and adjusted tension in different ways, but every now and then I'd still get an inconsistent stitch. Then I found this, a size 19 twist point needle, which I didn't even know existed. It's the largest LR needle Gros-Beckert makes, but sure enough, it had been on our website the whole time. And I think it's the solution to my problem, especially when sewing on the Fabricator. I've been doing lots of testing with the size 19, and the weird tension quirks have pretty much disappeared. Leather is a natural product, so it's not perfectly uniform. My guess is that when sewing through a denser section of leather, the knot wasn't getting pulled through because the hole was just a little too small. I also noticed fewer tension issues when turning 90-degree corners once everything was dialed in. This may not seem like a big deal, but I was so excited that this worked that I wanted to make this video. A couple disclaimers to close out the video. Getting good results with leather does take some fine-tuning of your machine's tension. As you get more familiar with your machine and the types of leather you're using, it does become easier and easier to find that sweet spot. I always recommend doing a quick test on scrap leather that matches your project thickness before sewing. Additionally, the underside of the seam is usually less attractive than the top, but the one exception might be the backside of this veg tan when using a twist point needle. I think that looks pretty great. Anyways, I hope you learned something from this video. I'll leave links below for all the needles and thread that I use and the PDF guides that I've been referencing throughout the video. There's also a few other helpful videos you can check out after this to perfect your sewing. Subscribe if you want to learn more about sewing, leathercraft, and all things DIY. Thanks for watching.